Good morning, beautiful people. It's Coach Ricardo Miller, joined this morning with my good friend Nizuri. What's up, Naz? It is so
What's
good to
up?
be.
What's up, people? What's up? Good morning, Pastor Ricardo. Good to see you this morning.
Listen, man, it's an exciting time to be alive. So much change is happening in the world, Naz, and now our goal is to let's talk about it today here on Effective Living. I want to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on this mission to help as many people capture the understanding that, you know what, life is to be lived and to be enjoyed and to be maximized to the fullest, Nas. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize the understanding of a mindset in the journey to living life effectively. You could say within your heart that God has more for me. You could say with
Mhm.
conviction for a long time, I know I'm living below my potential. That listen, I'm educated enough to own the company, but I work for the company. And, you know, I know enough people to have a lot going for me, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot going for me. I want to talk about the importance of mindset. I want to talk about it, the importance of mindset. And so, if you're joining us this morning, I see Brady is joining us this morning. Do me a favor and share this. Tag somebody because there are too many people that are stuck. They're wanting to live life effectively, but unfortunately, they're not engaging in the healthiest of practices when it
Mhm.
comes to high performance living. And high performance living initiates here first. High
Mhm.
performance living. If you want to go to the next level, you have to get
Mhm.
your mind right. Let me say
Yes.
it again. If you want to go to the next level, Vanessa, if you want to shift your life for better in any area, ultimately living life effectively, you want to get your mindset right.
Mm.
Nas, in your opinion, how important is mindset?
I think it's everything. It's everything. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's the garden. It is the foundation
Yeah,
of everything you're going to do. It's the beginning of everything.
yeah,
Right now, we struggle because of our mind.
yeah, yeah.
I know I've been so comfortable to tell myself everything that has been wrong in the past is not because of someone else,
Wow,
not because of anything else. It's totally on me.
wow,
And for me to come to agreement with that is like if I thought different, if I met that guy and talked different, if I had negotiated different, if I had gone to a different thing, I know very well everything is because of that decision I made,
yeah,
and that decision is from what I thought I knew.
yeah,
What I knew then and what I know now, I can automatically tell you if you might everything depends on how you think.
yeah.
Your success, your failure, everything comes to
Wow,
rest, brother, right here. It
wow,
is the garden where we plant everything.
wow,
So there's no way running from it. Your mind is the beginning, the building block. A rich man says, take everything away from me right now, and I'll still make it
wow. Yeah, yeah,
because the mind knows what to do right now.
yeah.
The mind knows who to talk to, what bank to go to, what investment to put money into. Everything is in the mind.
When we understand that everything is in the mind. It all starts. You said the mind is the garden, and the truth is then that we have to learn how to manage our garden.
Mhm, mhm,
Now,
mhm,
there
mhm.
are some people who allow themselves to let whatever grow in their garden be what it is. Well, you don't understand this area. These weeds are just overtaking my gardens, and that's just the way it is. No, that's the way you've made it to
That's what
be.
you've made it to be.
Yeah, that you've made it to be.
Yeah.
So a change behavior is rooted in mindset. Let's talk about change behavior because there are people today, Nas, they came
Mhm,
into 2021 saying
mhm,
2020 was a horrible year. Goodbye, 2020. You know,
mhm,
COVID-19, the global pandemic took us and just disrupted everything in
mhm,
2020. And now there are people in 2021 who, when they crossed over at the beginning of this year,
mhm,
they said that this was going to be their year. They had every bit of them feeling, oh, it's gonna be, but the behavior now, the behaviors have not changed.
No, nothing has changed.
Like, talk about the dynamics of behavior changing for life to change. Because see, the mind has to be influenced for behavior to change.
Yes.
But there are some people who have in their heart, they think, here's the deal, Nas. The heart longs for more. But if the mind is not renewed, the life will never be changed. Even if you receive something and your mind's not changed, your mind will take you back to where you
Yeah.
have accustomed yourself to acquiring or living or being appreciable of. In other words, you get more money. If your mindset has not been changed to understand the role of money and maintaining the money you've acquired, you're going to be broke after a while.
Listen, I've always wanted to have $1 million on my bank account.
Yeah.
Until someone told me yesterday, well, the goal is not to have the $1 million.
Yes.
The goal, what will it help you do?
Yes. Hey, my mentor, when I was doing my coaching program, the guy said, here's what he says. Hey, don't make the million for the million. Make the million for what it will become, what you will become.
Hey,
the mindset that will have to have shift, because to make that kind of money, there's a behavioral shift that has to occur. I know, we all know people that don't want to address the behavioral practices that's causing us. What do you think that is about?
I don't know. When I had this, it totally changed me. He says that your garden is your best ally. Your garden is what God has given each one of us.
Yeah.
And your garden will give you everything you give it. It will produce. That's for sure. It will produce bad habits. It will produce weeds. It will produce bad crop. But your neighbor's garden in the same environment will produce 100-fold.
Wow.
100-fold. And then your garden will be dying. The crops are dying. Why? It's what you have given it.
Wow.
You give it something, it will multiply it back. Whatever you give it, the mind will give it back to you. So change behavior cannot happen. You can't have a good crop unless this garden takes in good weather, good care, give it good water, give it a good seed. You know, if the garden is not changed, if you can't plant a good crop, I'm telling you, my people perish because they lack knowledge. That is God right there. I am becoming very comfortable telling myself, brother, you have messed up. I grew up in a culture where we waited for someone else.
Yes.
My father wasn't around. Well, there's so many. I can name for you 100 kids without fathers, Nas, and they are making it. They have grown up in the same environment as you. So I am becoming very comfortable with changing and looking at myself. Say, if my mind was stronger and more capable and able to think differently, I would be a different person. I can't change anything until I change this brother right here. But it is seasons. You don't plant today and get your crop tomorrow.
Come on.
Learning that, oh man, you can put in fertilizers. Oh, you need water in the amount of water. So that's why changing behavior is a step-by-step learning. This brother right here needs this kind of seed. Because you could jump into reading books and then realize, no, these are the books that work for me. You could jump into a business and realize, no, this is not the business for me. But that process of changing the behavior is changing what is going in the mind. Well, I've just realized, man, every friend I've been talking to the last few years, none of them owns $1 million. So I might have to check.
Because at the end of the day, birds of a feather do flock together. At the end of the day, like-minded people, everything hang out together. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us, I'm joined with Naziri this morning. We're talking about change your mind, change your life. At the end of the day, when you show up here on Effective Living, you show up because the message is the same. Consistently, our message here on Effective Living is, if you want a better life, you need to become better, qualified to acquire that you desire. It does
Like,
not just happen. Stop letting people lie to you, telling you this is going to be your year. If your behavior doesn't change, your life is not going to change as well. That's a hard pill to swallow, Nas.
yeah,
There
right.
are some people, they got their fingers crossed. I'm hoping this is my week. Listen, you don't hope to be your week. You do what is necessary to manage your garden. I like what you said. You got to manage your garden, and you got to realize that's the deal. The level of productivity and success that comes forth from a garden is a lot indicated to skill set.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with life. Skill set matters. Desires, everybody desire to have more money, live in good environments, and acquire all that they would dream of acquiring. Not because you dream it mean you're going to have it. Let me say it again. Not because you dream it mean you're going to have it. You've got to become the person qualified for what your heart's desire.
Wow.
Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to become the person qualified for what your heart's desire. Nas, when I meet people who says, you know what, I want next level. Ricardo, you don't understand. God revealed some things to me. God revealed some things to me. And yes, that could be that God revealed some things to you, but there is a process. There's what he says. You said it, Nas. My people are destroyed for the lack of money. It's not that I did not talk to my people. It is that my people did not acquire the necessary skills to meet the demands of what I'm calling for them to do. You could want to build an ark, but you have to have a skill to know how to build the ark to save people. Now, when it comes to book reading, there are people who, you know, they don't engage themselves in understanding that a book can help you to acquire the knowledge you don't know to get a transformed mind. Why do you think there are so many people that are not embracing the material that's out there that get your mind right and make you actually live the life you desire?
Pastor Ricardo, reality is very scary. The truth is, the pastor said, how many of you want to travel the world? We all put up our hands.
Yes.
He said, how many of you have a passport? No hand went up. Now, I want to tell you, there's 80% of the people that left that meeting offended, and there's about 10 or 20% of us that went and got a passport.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know I would ever travel at that time. I was a student. I got out of college. I'm doing my little job in my small village. And I've seen America on TV, but I don't know if I'll ever go there. But after that meeting, I went and got a passport. I had no plans to go anywhere. But 3 years later, Pastor Ricardo, I got a chance to travel. At that moment, if I had gone to get a passport, things would have been different. So 80% of the people left that meeting offended, probably. But going back, it is very scary to face reality, Pastor Ricardo. It takes guts for a man to admit, I am not doing well.
Hold on. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that from Naziri right here. I like that. Hold on. It takes guts for a man to say, I am not doing well. It takes guts. Oh my goodness. It takes nerve to say I'm not doing well. Now here's the deal, Naz. I'm gonna let you finish that. You know, I've been teaching. Someone is assigned to help you. And someone is succeeding where you're failing. Now here's the deal. The challenge is being able to find the person who's assigned to help you and submitting to the process of getting to where you desire. So you say, here's the deal. Nas said it, guys. Reality is scary. To admit that I'm not doing well. Let's talk about that for a moment. Dive into that for us, Nas.
It is so painful. It is so painful, Pastor Ricardo, to realize I chose A instead of B. And that was my choice. Now, the day people discover that, they get beaten down and like, man, I did so bad and I am never going back to that place. Or, man, I made a choice of A instead of B. Let me get myself ready. Next time that choice presents itself, I am going to make a better choice. And that's what books reveal. A book tells you something you've done wrong for the last 20 years. Now, some of us are not strong enough to face that in our life. You're like, I don't want someone to tell me for the last 20 years I've been winging it.
Yeah.
I would rather be told, brother, you've tried, you've been going hard, keep going, than someone telling you. So that's what books do. That books totally flip you upside down. And like the brother tells you, and then this is we throw these statements around. Well, those people had something going for them. Well, that brother that wrote that book had his family set up something for him. They're not telling the truth. There's a life they live. We have all excuses not to face what reality is in our lives. We just smile at and ask them. We didn't we do not want to get offended. Someone is watching you mess up. The book is watching you mess up. I look at myself and go, man, when I met that guy 20 years ago, I wish I had asked them a different question.
Yeah.
And the problem is, people will not come to you to help you. No. Someone will not stay. They might, but they will not come until you seek out. So we do not want to read books, number one, because I've discovered this. I used to think it was cultural, or well, Pastor Ricardo, culturally, we don't read books. Culturally, it's hard for me to read the book. Yes, it is hard for everyone to read a book. But what I've discovered, I did not want to get to be exposed to something. Let me say it, I did not want to be exposed to my own shortcomings. And I didn't know all these. The more someone tells you read 10 books and you discover, man, I have really done bad. So that can either break you down, or you can say, all right, I am going to go one book at a time. I am going to read all of them. Just number one, to change the way I think. I'm going to do that. Number two, I will go over them and try to do what they say. So we do not want to face that situation. As human beings, I do not want to face reality. We fear death because it's real. Once you get there, like, boy, this is real. So when someone tells you, have you written a will? You're like, I don't want to talk about a will.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to talk about a will because they fear death.
Reality is a very scary. Most of us live dreaming and fantasizing, Pastor God. But
hold on. Nas just says a lot of us live dreaming and fantasizing. That's it. Dreaming and lies. Nas, you just messed the whole show up there. A lot of us live dreaming.
But when you're faced with reality, they say, brother, this is what you need to do to get to B. Most people turn away and go. And that's what a book exposes you to.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is dropping the bomb. Boom. Come on, it is what it is. Here's the deal. A lot of us live life dreaming and fantasizing. A book reveals to you your shortcomings. Most people don't want to see their shortcoming. Now, as you mentioned, that the reality of it is that it is scary to look and see yourself in the mirror, but there can be no change until you decide to come clean with yourself.
You can't.
Now, you said the book reveals it, mentors reveals it, life in itself will reveal that you did not do well. Do you know that life is a classroom?
It is. And if you
life is a big old classroom, and it reveals those who are crushing it in the classroom of life. Those who are not doing well.
Yeah, I was watching a news broadcast a few weeks ago. There's a small village in Kenya where men are committing suicide, and it's becoming a pandemic almost on the village. On a village level, it's becoming a crisis. Men above 30-year-olds are committing suicide.
Wow.
Every day, one body is being discovered. The truth is, once a man gets to a certain point and realizes this is what's been going on, life reveals itself, and someone has no choice but to end their life. So life will teach you. If you want to learn, life will really show you. And you have a choice when it shows you to either step up and go, but most of the times we've reached a point where like, man, I can't go back. I can start over. I can read that book. I won't go to that show. I won't go to that seminar. I'm just going to just lay down. And there's a point of teaching where men naturally, spiritually, and their soul totally dies, and they just give up.
So sometimes a person may not die a natural death.
Not really.
But they die from within to try.
Oh yeah.
In other words, we all know that there's a book that's available to us that can help us. We all know that there's someone who can help us. But there's a live broadcast like this that is happening every morning here on Effective Living while we're trying to provide people practical principle. But there are people who ignore it. They stay financially in the red or in debt. They stay allowing bodies to be overtaken by what they call pleasure food. Right? They find themselves living in environments they know they don't like where they live. They don't like what they drive. They don't like what they eat. They don't like how life is coming about for them. But what you're saying, Naz, is that there are people who have just totally decided to ignore that fact and they're just merely existing. They're no longer trying to figure out how to win this life.
And they meet you every day. Say, "Hi, Coach Ricardo." You're like, "Hey, brother, I have a seminar in the morning. Yes, Coach, I'll see ya."
And don't show up.
They won't show up, but they'll meet you every day and give you a fist bump. And then you know that brother can't pay rent next month.
you know he's gonna need gas money. You know he's gonna need it.
He may not ask you, but you know he's gonna ask someone else. So many of us are like that. So many of us are living life like that, like, because I do not want to face the truth that you're going to expose in the seminar in the morning. That, brother, these are the things you've planted in your mind for the last 20 years, and they've not taken you anywhere. So to face that is a big deal. For a man to step up and say, "Pastor Ricardo, all right, I am willing to change. I am going to run 1 mile tomorrow." That is a man right there. He said, "Wake up in the morning and run half a mile. Just do that. Go run half a mile. After you do that, call me." If he does that and calls you, you know that guy, if he's been weighing 300 pounds, is ready to face. But most people, they wake up and say, "You know what? I'll just chill. I'm just going to wing it and let it," because I do not want to go out there and someone tell me that I need to change my lifestyle.
You know, Nas, but here's something that I've been doing lately. When it comes to my coaching clients, you know, a lot of people live from the outside in. In other words, just as what you just mentioned, I don't want someone to say to me what's going on in my life. I think change at its best comes when you start saying to yourself, when you're saying to yourself, "I don't want to live like this anymore.
I don't want to do that."
And knowing that the coach, the book, the live broadcast, it's not attacking me. It's revealing to me what needs to be addressed. I started a talk last year called The Ugly Truth.
The ugly
Truth. And so many of us, we would do so much better if we would really be honest with saying to the people that's around us, "Tell me the truth." Listen, Naz, let me tell you something. The quickest way for me to back off from somebody is for me to see that they build offense in truth. The quickest way for me to back off from somebody is for me to discover that they get offended in truth. When the truth is expressed, if you build an offense for the truth, then you can't be helped. But I don't like how you said it.
It's not about how you say it.
I don't like when you said it. Come on, now.
It is true, but it's true, but you said it at the wrong time.
It's truth, but you say it at the wrong time. Nas, the Bible says, here's what the book says: "The truth shall set you free." But if you're ignoring the truth, if I'm assigned to help you, but I can't tell you the truth, it's like you're handcuffing me, the teacher, the coach, the instructor, from helping you. We live in a society today where people are becoming offended by the truth.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It is. I mean, you look at someone and they cannot walk up the stairs.
Come on, talk to us.
And you tell them, hey, can you do A, B, C, D? And they will be offended because you you told them how to change their. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. But honestly, if the truth will offend you, then you can't go anywhere.
Wow.
You can go anywhere.
If the truth can offend you,
Mhm.
if the truth does offend you, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck.
You're stuck.
Now, my greatest growth moment, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. My greatest growth moment has occurred in my life when there were people who told me what I really didn't want to hear, but I did not stop them from saying what they needed to say. I'm telling you, in my platform nationally, my greatest growth moment occurred in the most challenging of ways when the presenter shared what I didn't want to hear, but I accepted what was said and not took offense to what was said. Because once you take offense to truth, the truth can't help you now.
It can't help you. Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Now let's talk about this. Why do you think that there's so many people that they have access to truth? They have access to truth. Let's talk about that a little bit. You may have mentioned a little bit, but they're not embracing the truth that they have access to, because we're all in proximity of someone who is doing well where we're failing. we're all in proximity of someone who's doing. We have access. Even somebody that I can't afford Coach Ricardo Miller coaching program. But you don't even watch his free content. hey, if you watch this, Nas, if you watch the free content enough, occasionally free books are given away. You can even get a free Effective Living book.
Yes.
Because you were watching close enough to say, I'm going to take advantage of the free stuff, use the free stuff until I get better, master the free stuff to cross over into the next season where I can pay.
Yes.
But now let's talk about this whole element of having access to the correct information or the people that can help us, but not embracing that. What do you think that's about?
It's priceless. It's priceless to have someone in your life. It's priceless to have someone show you the way. It is. You can't put a figure on someone showing you the way. You can't put a cost on someone who teaches you a principle that can teach you how to fish on your own. You can't put a figure on that, because the production is limitless. If someone told you how to fish, the production is limitless, because you could go and become you could go fish on another village island and become, it is so different for someone to tell you this is how they do it. Now go do it on your own. You can't see a tortoise on a tree on a pole and think it got there by itself. We say that all along, like someone has helped it get somewhere. People are not going to come to you easily to help you get there. You have to seek them out. Seeking out a book, seeking out a mentor, but I have to become comfortable with myself. Pastor Ricardo, I am a grown man and I am really I'm learning some things. I'm really learning that, bro. I mean, praise God for my mother, praise God for my family. They raised me well. I've been a good boy. I haven't felt any need at all for anything, but at a grown-up age, I'm beginning to tell myself, brother, you still have some shortcomings for not having a father in your life. Wow. Despite of all the good things that have happened to me, I'm now realizing there's some shortcomings if you do not have someone ahead of you to tell you, don't do A, do B. Very priceless. And I do not know what we're going to do as a culture to embrace seeking out help on people who have gone ahead of us, mentors, people who have. Now they are also learning from other people. The problem is that we take offense, like, well, who does he think he is to teach me? No. He has taught himself how to get better. He has learned from someone and he has figured out he can also help teach someone else. I am getting so comfortable right now to say, you know what? Seek help. Seek help. seek help. If you knock, the door will be open. He who asks will get. If you seek, you will find.
Yeah.
we can put a price on seeking help out. And Pastor Ricardo is very true. I say to myself, brother, now someone is watching you and they will help you. Just find them. Someone is watching you right now. There's someone seeing what you're doing, and they've gone through it. You know how to get out of it, and they can tell you what to do right now, and you'll be so well. It is up to you to find. Do you know that you can live in a situation for 20 years and people around you are just watching you? No one is saying anything.
Anything.
I have a friend of mine just bought a house.
Yeah.
And he's really, he called me and he was so offended that the people around us who have had houses for 20 years did not sit him down and tell him how to buy a house. So he finally bought a house. Then he visited one of the friends. He says, "You've had the house for 2. How come you did not tell me how to go through this process? Why didn't you challenge me? Why didn't you ever wake up and say, brother, go buy a house?" Well, human beings are designed such a way that I will not come to Pastor Ricardo and tell you, Pastor Ricardo, you need to buy a house. Very few people are going to do that for you. And once they do that, we seldom appreciate them. But the day you're in need and go to them, they will tell you.
Nas, you know I've been teaching this. Advice given but not requested is seldomly appreciated.
I don't appreciate it.
Yeah. Advice given but not requested is seldomly appreciated. I watch a lot of people. I watch, oh my goodness, the seat that I sit in, and I've not arrived. But at the same time, you know, I teach this as well. Someone is watching you mess up who's capable of helping you, and they ain't saying anything. And there will be people who say, well, they're just wrong. How many of you are prepared for the truth to be told to you without you inviting the truth to be expressed to you? Come on, you didn't ask them anything, but if they would have come off and just outright told you, hey, you look like you're putting on weight. hey, why can't you ever pay for the lunch?
I was showing around my belly a few months ago, and you told me when we were running, I said, you said, nah, you put on weight. I said, now this is real serious. I started running. I spent a whole year without working out. The thing was growing, and everybody started telling me that thing is good. Pastor, you can believe I was weighing 170 pounds. Nas is very skinny to weigh 170 pounds.
But listen, I like this stuff. Like you said, I saw you. We have a good relationship. Nas, what's going on? You putting on all that weight? Look at the stomach. What's going on now? Rather than take offense to it, what did you say? Hey, I need to talk to us about that. You chose.
2 weeks later, I paid for my first half marathon in almost a year and a half. I had stopped doing that, and I went to the weighing scale, and I was 100 and say, well, if you're this height and you weigh this, you are obese.
Hold on, stop a moment. Hold on one second. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this right here. See, he went ahead and did not justify his increase in weight. He went ahead and checked what the projected weight for his height was. Okay? Now, when you went ahead and checked what the projected weight for your height was, what was going on?
They say if you're 5'6" and you weigh more than 150, you are obese. I was 170. I was like, oh, bro. I said, what have I not done? I paid for my first half marathon. I paid for it. I paid for the Irving Marathon. It's happening in 2 weeks. We usually 24 months. I said, no, just pay, go train and start doing. I started, I think, 3 weeks ago doing my 2, 3, 4 miles, 5 miles. I'm feeling better. I'm back to that whole thing gone now.
but you and I, we did the Irving before. We did a couple of half marathons.
Yes, we've done a
couple marathon. Nas, you said something just now that's going to help a lot of people. Something was said to you. You did not take offense to it. You could have gone and sit in your car and say, hey, Ricardo, forget Ricardo Miller. I ain't coming back to his event. I never watch any of his stuff. And you could have go ahead and just keep on swelling up. Right? You could have just increasing in size and taking offense, but you signed up short notice to a half marathon.
Mhm.
Started running, and now your body is becoming back
Yeah.
on
And
point.
I may not run the whole of it, but it has helped me start going out, to start running out. I mean, I can easily come. It was so hard to run a mile at 170 with my height.
Wow.
You have no idea how hard it was. It was really, really hard for me to run a mile.
Wow, wow. And you know the difference, because obviously you and I, we prepared for a marathon before. We prepared for the half marathon before. Now let's talk about this. The 5 things you know now that you wish you knew 10 years ago. What would be those things?
It all starts with me.
It all starts, number one, it all starts with me.
10 years ago, if I told myself, brother, it's up to you, not somebody else, I think my life would be different. Number 2, if I'd known 10 years ago that at any moment I can choose to change my life, I'd been waiting and waiting. Up to now, I'm still waiting for some things, but embrace the truth that right now I can change my life. Right now, I can make a decision and change my life. That to finally come to terms with me. If 10 years ago I would have said, Naz, you just landed in the greatest country in the whole world, change your life.
Hold on now. So what's it? You know, this is so good, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to get this. It starts with me. That's number 1. Number 2,
it starts with me.
Any moment I can change my life. Naz, I've been saying in the mornings when I start my session, if you don't like where you are, you can change where you are.
You can change
it
why
I keep saying that? Because it's a mindset. Some people don't know they can change. You watch this, Naz. You've been robbed 3 times at your current residence. They broke into your house 3 times. You've been robbed 3 times. Your car has been broken into 3 times.
And you just signed up another lease. And you just signed up a 3-year lease.
And you signed the lease for 3 more years.
No.
Oh Jesus, that's that.
You can't do that. There's no hospital for that.
You signed the lease. You signed the lease for 3 more years. When you've been robbed at that place 3 times. Your car has been broken into 3 times. I mean, you drive into your neighborhood, you don't like where you live, but you went ahead and renewed the lease. Or if you bought a house there, you chose to continue to invest in a house where you've seen people die. You've seen that the reports state that this is not a good place to live anymore. That whole concept, I can change.
I can
now.
change.
You said it, you're number 2. At any moment, you could tell yourself, listen, kids, pack your stuff up. We move it.
We're moving.
Or you could choose by yourself. If you're by yourself, I'm not going to take this anymore. Enough is enough. Keep on going, Naz. Man, those 2
on that one, there's a small book you told me to read some time ago. I don't know if you can see that one. I bought it, but I kept it. And most people would tell themselves, I can't do this because I have my kids in school.
Tell them the book name.
The book, this book is called The 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-Hour Work Week. But a story in there, a family says, we're going to carry our kids and travel the world for a whole year. It's the same reason why someone would say, I can't do this because my kids are in school, is the same reason a family said, we're going to educate our kids for a whole year about the whole world. So I can change anything at any time. To become number 3, time waits for nobody, Pastor Ricardo. Time is very precious and time is gone. And it is tickling every second. Bam, it's a drop of water. You watch that thing drop and you can't stop it. You will never get yesterday. Very
waits for nobody. And that goes back to one of our effective living principles again. A day wasted is a day you'll never have again. Days are expensive.
Very expensive.
Right?
Very.
A day wasted is a day you'll never have again. Wow.
Sad reality that life goes. And I mean, this one catches up with all of us. Everyone, the moment you wake up and realize, man, that's another day has gone, but let me make tomorrow count. That's the biggest thing. Number 4, it is very painful to learn when you're older.
so, 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 so,
It is
so
very painful
oh,
to
hold on
learn
now.
something tomorrow than today.
Listen. When I was growing up in the Bahamas, they would
Mhm.
teach us bend the tree while it's young.
Yeah.
Bend the tree while it's young. It is easy
Mhm,
to
mhm.
mold,
Yeah.
to make adjustment of a
Yes.
tree
Mhm,
while it's young, because when the tree grows older, to try
mhm.
to maneuver the tree can break the tree, could
You are going to
destroy the
break it.
tree,
You're
can
going
kill
to
the tree.
destroy it. Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's more difficult to make a jump. I know it. I see it all the time now.
Mhm,
People
mhm,
come and they're a season and age, and I look
mhm.
at them. I'm like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Guys, help us.
Lastly, I've also learned that I'm just being embraced right now. Pass it on to someone else, the younger you. I realized when I just landed here, Pastor Ricardo, if I had met you the day I landed here, probably my life would have been better or different than meeting you a few years later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you can't go back and start crying about that. If a young man lands in this country from Africa right now, I'll really seek them out. I seek them out myself. Say, hey, brother, I need to see you where you at.
Yeah.
I didn't tell me you just came. Tell me about your plan. These are 10 things I would like you to do that I never did. These are 5 things I would like you to start on that I tell you people knew how to do that, but I never sold out. And I can't blame them for not telling me. But right now, I'm beginning to tell myself 10 years, teach a younger you, teach a younger person about all these things. All these 5 things attached to the question. You look at 10 years ago and you look at 10 years ahead and you say, growing old is real. Growing old is real. And mistakes along the way unaddressed are going to really affect you. Now, you could be 50, you could be 60, but at that moment, are you going to cut life short and say, well, with all that has happened to me, let me have my beer and drink it, I'm done with life? Or are you going to say, no, even at this moment, I can make a few adjustments and live a better life?
Yep. I can make a few adjustments and still live a better life. That's why I still teach. You can still make the rest of your life the best of your life. Nas, I remember the first time when you came, and you were driving with me, we were going to my house or leaving my house. I think we were going to the airport or something. And you listened to an audiobook. And you said, what is that?
Now, I was a grown man.
Yeah. You said, what is that? What information is that? Who is that? Talk to us about that whole process, because once again, we all are in proximity of someone who can help us.
I'm telling you, it was, and those days used to be a CD. I think you had a CD. Your car can play a CD of a man who was very good speaking. I think his name is Jim Rohn. Yeah, and between me and listening to that and being close to you in the car, man, I'm like, what if you had learned 10 things like that? What if you had made 5 Ricardos in your season? How could your life be? You can't put a price on being exposed or proximity to someone who knows something that you do not know. You put in a CD, you're listening, and I went home. I'm like, you mean there is such thing? I mean, I was literally. I would say that was the beginning of a better life that I have. I'm still seeking more, but that cassette tape, that drive will never leave my head to hear a man say, who are you becoming?
Now, I can remember a phone call with you when you talked about, you said this, hey, you were living with some people, and you said, I can't live like this no more. And then there was a time you were driving a car that was not reliable. And you said, I can't drive like this no more. Right? And you went back to those who were, and you bought a car. You said, oh, you bought a new car. It was relatively a new car. It was relatively a new car. They were shocked that you bought a relatively new car. You
Mhm,
eventually just said, I can't live like this no more. I want to
mhm.
change my environment. You moved because you said,
Right.
no, 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 I'm not. What, talk to us as we get ready to close our talk out this morning. Something started there that
Mhm.
literally kept you on this hustle to say, I need to get a renewed mind to get to the place where I believe I was destined to be.
It was a small trickle for me to tell myself I can't live here. That's a statement I never used to say. That's a statement
Yeah,
I never. Where you grew up living is where you lived all your life. For
right.
someone to say I can't stay here, that was very something had happened to me, and I don't know what it was, but it all began with listening to something different, being around people who are different, and I discovered this mind right here can give you weeds, but this same mind can give you 10 acres of gold.
Yeah, goal.
Same place. I don't know how God made it, but God has made this mindset so rich, but it can make you so bad depending on how you use it. I just put in a cassette, I just put in a CD. That was it for me. Now, I have gone on to listen to so many things after that, but that moment of me listening to something I'd never listened before in my life totally told them, like, oh, bro, you mean I can
Yeah,
change?
yeah, I can change.
I can change.
Let me ask you this question. The whole element of repeating negativity over and over, that whole concept, there are some people who, you know what, they're feeding the negative thought rather than embracing the truth that can set them
Mhm.
free. What are
Mm.
your thoughts on that?
You're killing the only thing you have because the only thing you have is you.
Wow, wow, yeah,
You're killing you. Negativity. And a little worry at sometimes is good to wake you up. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong with you waking up in the morning and say, man, I am sleeping a lot.
yeah, yes, 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 yes.
This- some of these help you wake up, but the negativity of every day killing yourself, not celebrating a little smaller success, a little smaller achievement. If you're beating down yourself all the time, what you're listening, I mean, someone is listening to this show right now this morning and is saying, well, that's Ricardo. He's been saying that for the last 20 years. My life is my life. That is beating you down. You're destroying the foundation. You're destroying the mind. You're telling the mind, I cannot change. I will not change. And I'm always going to be like this. Very bad because you're destroying where you can mine gold. You're destroying where you can. And once the soil is bad, you can bring the best seed in the whole world, but it will never work. It will never. You can put 100 good books in the. I don't know that you. I don't know. You hear this guy who said two sons say I became a drunk by watching my dad, and the other son says I became a doctor by watching my dad. Two kids watched their dad and took two different paths
Wow,
because the mind was fed something else. This kid looks at his dad and say, I am going to do what my father is doing. And that's what the mind took. And the other kid says, I am not going to do what my father is doing. So what negativity is just really destroying the foundation. You do not know, because the day you wake up and want to change, well, the foundation has been destroyed so much that the repair is going to take a lot. And
wow,
the harder the repair, the easier to quit. The
yep,
day you discover, man, I need to lose 500 pounds, bro, I'm giving up. Then
wow,
someone says, well, you just need to lose 10 pounds. Okay, I can work on that. So
yep,
negativity is destroying the little thing you only have, which is you to help, because helping yourself is going to start with you. And if you've destroyed you with anything you've put in, then it's going to be hard to help yourself for other people to come and help you.
wow. Nas said it, ladies and gentlemen. He also said earlier, it is very painful to learn when you're older. It's very painful. And this is the truth. Once you become obese to a degree, when
Mhm,
you realize what you have to lose, sometimes you just give up because you don't want to
mhm,
lose. You think it's too big. And I'm a
mhm,
big
mhm.
proponent of baby steps.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent of small wins. Now, as we close our talk out this morning, you came from a very traditional environment, a small village that had a program mindset that
Mhm,
you fought through to break past.
mhm.
Looking back at your life, what were some of the greatest mindset strongholds, once again, that you find yourself that you struggle with the most? What was your greatest struggling points in becoming liberated to a place where you could start feeling okay on your journey to living life at another level?
You don't outgrow these things, Post Ricardo. They still follow you. If people really understand what you're talking about, the mind,
Yeah.
it is a stronghold.
Yeah.
Once there's something has been put in your mind for 25 years, it is not going to go away. It's going to go away in degrees.
Yeah.
But it is right now, I cannot still make a decision without thinking about what will my people say.
Yeah.
That's a stronghold.
That is a struggle.
A stronghold. But I can't just give it up.
Yeah.
Now, I have learned myself, bro. Do you know you've been making decisions all your life because of what people are going to say?
Yeah.
I have realized, yes, I have been doing that, and it is a stronghold. Now, have I changed on a few things? Others, I'm still like, well, I need to talk to my sister. So that has been fear of unknown territory. That has been there. Man, you're leaving and you're going to this new place. You do not know anyone there. That is a stronghold. This is what we do. This is how we grow up. It's a very strong hold. I mean, I work at a church, I serve in church, but how we've grown up being taught respect, listening, submitting, and all these things do affect every decision we make.
Yeah.
We do these things do affect. Now, do we give them up? No, we don't. With the pastor is still a big person in my life. My parents, my people, my family, and all that. But the decisions of what I can make for me right now, it is still being dominated right away by what people think around me, and that's a stronghold. And it's something someone has to realize that and say, "Wow, I need to make a decision for me. I need to make a decision for B. I need to make a decision for C. These people are very important in my life, but again, I need to learn how to make a decision, put them aside, and say, what will Nas be 20 years from now?"
Yeah.
And you wake up and realize when you finally live your life 20 years later, these people may not be in your life as you thought they would be. So it's a stronghold. It's not going away, but at least I've learned that there is this thing called culture around me, that everything I'm going to live is still lived in this big group environment, and that is right there. I need to face it. And the sooner you realize it, the better.
The sooner you realize it, the better. Ladies and gentlemen, we were joined with Naziri this morning. We're tapping into some stuff, man. Go back and watch the entire talk. It is worth watching it a few times. We're talking about if you change your mind, you can change your life. But it's going to take some work. It is going to take some work. Baby steps as necessary, but do the steps. If you make a commitment to change your life, guess what? Your life will change. But if you keep making excuses, guess what? The next year at the same time, you'll be right where you are. You are responsible for changing your life.
Yes.
Naz, what's your closing thoughts?
For me to finally accept that I can come on a show and say a statement and say sorry later to someone than ask for permission, that has taken a long time. But I am finally embracing this. I had this 10 years ago. You better apologize than ask, because when you ask, most people are going to say no. But when most people come to say, well, what did you do? Well, I'm sorry of what I did. You will move on with life, but you did it anyway. Finally say right now, no, I can go on a Coach Ricardo show and really express what my mind is thinking without fearing offending anyone. And if anyone is, I can say I'm sorry. But I do not have to keep the thing in the way to say, well, what do you think I should say tomorrow? Because someone will tell you, well, you can't say that. You can't do that. You rather say, do, and say, I am sorry, I apologize. But you made that decision for you than waiting for permission, because people naturally are going to tell you, well, people are going to give you 5 reasons why something can work. If you ask 10 people what are you going to do, 9 probably will tell you, you know what, try B, change the vision, change this, change your
Yeah.
board,
Yeah.
change the way. Don't go to that bank, brother. You rather go and come and say, I'm sorry I did this, than waiting for people to help you get up.
Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to help you to understand. If you don't like where you are, start making some adjustments right here. And Nas, you talked about it, strongholds of the religious support system that formed your mindset, the family system that formed your mindset, the community cultural belief system that formed your mindset, the current environment that is still influencing your mindset. Oftentimes we want more, our hearts yearn for more. We know better is within us. Our potential says that we should be more than we are, but there is so much to fight past.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can keep this conversation going. We're going to have to call this one for a day, but here's the deal. We'll be back. Nas will be back. We're going to push this conversation a little bit further on another day, but here's what I need you to do. Go back and watch it, make notes of what stood out to you, and tell yourself, if I want my life to change, then my mind needs to change as well. Nas, you've done the work. You are continuing to do the work. You're on a journey to creating the life you desire. Man, hats off to you. For those of you guys that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Nas just talked about he's preparing to do a half marathon. Well, guess what? Him and I, we did a half marathon together. We did a marathon. Here's what you got to do. You got to remember, your body is the vehicle God uses to fulfill your assignment. If you're anywhere in the Dallas area, Memorial Day weekend, join me on my Effective Living crew. We have a meetup that's happening on Saturday, May 29th in Arlington, Texas, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sorry. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. This is a Memorial Day weekend event. If you are anywhere in the area, come on and check us out. This is going to be an activity that I promise you that will help change your life for the better, because you got to take care of the body. The body is necessary for the assignment in your life to be executed. If you don't have your body, then it limits your ability to do what God's called you to do. Once again, I challenge you, don't settle for where you don't belong. Every day, in every way, you got to tell yourself, I'm going to get better. Nas, thank you again for an exciting conversation, man.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
You're welcome.